About a year ago, I started my adventure into the world of podcasting, and since then, I haven't looked back. I've had the privilege of speaking to many legendary educators about a wealth of topics surrounding the world of education, including teaching methodologies, proven strategies, and successful techniques that are meant to improve a teacher's performance in the classroom. And because of this, I myself have learned, became more informed, and even call many of my former guests friends to whom I can look to when I have questions or need to discuss certain topics. Since the first episode of Legendary Educator was released on the 2nd of January, 2023, the podcast, which streams on all major streaming services and on YouTube, has reached audiences in over 45 countries worldwide. And this is just the beginning. In 2024, I look forward to creating more content to benefit teachers around the world and to discussing important topics in education with many legendary educators. This week on Legendary Educator, for its 1-year anniversary, I decided to bring together many voices from previous interviews to focus on the advice that was given to new teachers as they enter the classroom for the first time. Hello, teachers from around the world, and welcome to the Legendary Educator podcast, the podcast for teachers for ongoing professional development, helping you reach your goal of becoming a legendary educator. I'm your host, Mr. Ramez, a former teacher and certified instructional coach, and passionate about the classroom and about learning. Before we begin, please take a moment to subscribe to the channel so you won't miss any future episodes as they drop. And head on over to legendaryeducator.com to check out past episodes and YouTube videos. All right, let's begin. Class is in session.
Hello, my name is Jonathan Alsheimer, and I am a 6th grade history teacher, a classroom teacher in Northern Virginia. I teach at the Chancellor Middle School. I would say this. Don't try to be perfect. Be you. Be authentic. Try to make your lesson plans authentic and relevant. Try to realize, like, all right, what am I trying to get these kids to learn, and how's it going to be applicable to them? Build relationships. Relationships and student engagement are the foundation of the work that we do, right? And you got to set the tone as well. You got to have routines and consistency in your classroom, and you have to consistently build relationships with your students, find ways to connect with them. Don't pick and choose who to, I'm more like that. No, man. Every kid, every day, all year long, find them, build a relationship. If they're unwilling to build a relationship, chip away at that ice until you get them at the end. Maybe it might be the last week of school, but you're going to get them. And you can even tell them that I'm coming at you every single day. At some point, I had a girl this year never smiled. I said, listen, I'm going to get you a smile by the end of the year. And sure enough, it didn't take too long. She started to smile at me when she saw me, and she'd look away in the hallway, right? But I'm going to chip away at that. And then sometimes I'm going to chip away at that ice and build that relationship because they can't help but want to build a relationship with you because they walk into your classroom and you have something cool for them. It might not be all class. You might have 30 minutes of the boring notes and the this and the that, but they know 15 minutes of something cool is coming down the road. And they can't wait to come into that classroom. They can't wait to go to math, language arts. PE is finally fun because we're doing all this crazy stuff, right? Or art. I used to hate drawing, but now I love it because, right? So bring it in there every single day and just let your passion and your love for them show.
Hello, I am Michelle Rui. I am a literacy coach in a tiny town in South Carolina. Don't compare yourself to your neighbor, especially if it's a veteran. And maybe stay off Pinterest for a little bit. I mean, you got to it takes so much time. You don't come out of the gate as a veteran, amazing teacher. I've been in this for 23 years and I'm still not the teacher that I envisioned to be. I have lots of room to grow, and we all do. So give yourself grace.
Hello, my name is Kurt Richards. And the 1st of September, I retired from teaching after 40 years. Find some way to start off the class getting to know the students. I would say have some in elementary, they have like some little games. In high school, it just go around and
icebreakers.
Icebreakers, talk about it, tell a little story, things of this nature, and kind of ease into before you actually get into your material. Also, listen to the students. Tell me about yourself a little bit. So get to know that. And then eventually, and this is a chapter in the book too, you're going to get to a place where you have to discuss some classroom rules. So there's a lot of different ways to go into that. In my case, it had to do more with every rule had to do more with respect.
Right.
You know, to not only respect me, but respect each other, even respect yourself. So I would talk to a brand new teacher about getting hold of those nerves a little bit. Just use that energy, that nervous energy. And number one, too, now that we're talking about it, just is confidence. You've got to display confidence, even if it may sound bad to say if it's fake, but you know,
this is where the acting comes in.
That's where the acting comes in. That you're confident that you not only can teach them, but we're going to have a wonderful time in here, and you're going to learn, and you're going to learn. And I've had students. I mean, I don't mean to, you know, pat myself on the back, but I've had students say, "This is my favorite class. I look forward to this class every day."
Yes.
And of course that can be too, because a teacher just goofs off and doesn't have them do anything. But I challenged my students, but in such a way that sometimes they didn't even realize they were working. You know, so these types of discussions is what I would have. I don't have a magic bullet to say, if you do this and everything's going to be wonderful.
Right.
You know,
right.
Expect to feel sometimes like you failed. You know, you're just going to, and then just stop and don't put it on the student. Well, those students were so this and they were this.
Yes.
You know, put it on yourself.
Applause.
Why?
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Absolutely.
Hi, hello. Hi, my name is Naidi Simon. I've been in education for over 25 years now. I'm going to tell them, don't be afraid. I'm going to tell them, I know you're going to, because what happens is that especially teachers who have no idea about teaching and it's their first year, they think it's so cute from the movies that they watch and the books that they read. And that they think that when they're going to enter the class, the kids really do sit down and they do listen. And I'm just like, that's not what happens inside the classroom. So I'm going to tell them, don't be afraid of what you're going to see and you're going to experience. And you have to come every day and get that out. And you need to talk to somebody, whether your mentor or your coach, because it's frightening. It's scary when the teacher enters, especially new teachers who have never, ever taught before. You should see how their face glows and they think that, you know what, oh my God, I'm going inside my classroom, and they have all those little stickers up there and their door is all shiny and pretty and they have their markers set, and the kids come in and then it's like, pew, you know what? It's like something exploded in their face. They come out outside the classroom. I've seen that face before. Teachers come out after the first session, just like, oh my God, what happened? Why are the kids this way? I didn't see that coming. I would tell them, I told you, don't be scared. It's going to be okay.
My first year teaching, I remember every day I used to say, I need a beer and a tissue. I want to drink and I want to cry.
so you're cool that you came out with
I was
a tissue
tame,
and beer.
I was tame.
Yeah, I'm telling you. Yeah. No,
Oh,
it's not easy. It is teaching is not easy, especially nowadays. Teaching has become one of the most, although it is one of the most rewarding. That's the word I was looking for. Teaching is the most rewarding job in the world, and yet the most challenging. Let me just put it to you this way, Thomas. It is challenging. It is very challenging nowadays teaching, but it is possible. It can be done, but it just needs the right support system. It needs the right system. It needs the right group of people together so that you can make it happen.
Hello, my name is Mark Evans. Currently, I'm retired and I taught for 25 years. My advice was to just sort of know your limitations and know your strengths, because you can't know it all. You can't know it all on the first day of school, you know. And so just go with your strengths, and you'll learn all those things that you need to along the way. But don't be too hard on yourself, and don't be too nervous around kids. Act like you know what you're doing. Be natural. Try to be as natural as possible. I know there's a lot of teachers that go into teaching and they just want to be very strict, and so the kids don't mess around. And, as a band teacher, I'm in there with 60 kids with noisemakers.
I remember
so my advice would just be, like, relax, take it easy. You don't have to know it all on the first day. Just, get into it. You'll learn as you go. There's a lot of people out there that can help you as you go. Try to get a lot of continuing education as you go too. Talk to other teachers that are in your field. And one of the best things I ever did was to travel around to other schools when I was a young teacher, to just watch other people teach. And I learned a lot from that. So if that opportunity exists, I'd say really try to watch teachers who have been at it for a while. See what they do. Talk to them.
Hi, my name is Naomi. I currently run a business for educators to help with stress and burnout. So many things I would tell them. One is take care of yourself. You have got to get your sleep. I mean, I did the first year up till 1 a.m. I was also in my 20s. Now I'm like, there ain't no way that's happening now. But take care of yourself. Make sure that you're eating right. Make sure that you're sleeping. Make sure that you are managing stress outside of school. And remember that behaviors, whether it's your boss, your students, or parents, kind of like we talked about, there's more to it than you. Like, you are receiving the behavior, or you're receiving the attitude, but it's probably not you. Don't take it personally, especially with the kids, there's so much more to their behaviors than I asked them to pick up a pencil and they lost it on me. I wish I had learned that a little sooner. Give the kids some grace. They blew up when you asked them to pick up the pencil, but you know what? Something happened at home this morning. Something happened last class. Something else is going on. So let's give them a little grace and ask more questions rather than getting upset over the behavior. Let's find out what's causing that behavior.
Right.
Hello there. My name is Steve Neal, and I am the head of student life as well as a DP business teacher at St. Jude's Academy in Ontario, Canada. I think I would say, figure out what you're good at, figure out where your strength is, play to your strength, and get a good team around you, because that's what gets you through. I have this talk with our teachers each year during our August PD, because at our school we use a house system, much like Harry Potter, only Greek letters. And I always take each of the teachers as a house off to the side and say, look, this is your house. When it all falls apart, these are the teachers you go to first. These are the ones that you get support from. They are here for you, and it was interesting. We did one a couple years ago where they played this whole yarn throwing game, and it created this huge web, which was the point. And then I had each of them snip a piece of the yarn off and tie it onto their name tag that they wear around. And I said, just every time things are going bad in the classroom, look down and see that piece of yarn, and remember, you're not alone. There's a web of us out here. Get that team behind you, because that's what gets you through. And that. It astounds me in my office. There's 3 of us that share an office, and one will come in one day, and from the newest teacher in our office to the one who's taught the longest, and we'll just be there, and one of us will say, I don't know how to teach this point. And we'll just set everything aside, and we'll brainstorm for 5 minutes. And usually we come out with a whole lesson we'd never thought of before, right? Because that's what happens when you're with a team. And it is part of our culture that we take very seriously, that we are a team. Nobody is doing this alone. And honestly, the teachers where I've kind of watched them and they won't engage, they sit in their own corner, they do their own thing, they go teach, they go back to, they don't last. They last the year and we never see them again. And we're good with that. Thank you for finishing the year. That's one of our things. Never leave in the middle of a year. But the other thing is, if it's not for you, it's not for you. Go find what is for you. But St. Jude's, we're a team, and that's what we're all about. So.
Hello, my name is Andrew Shipe, and I've been teaching for about 30 years.
I would say my first piece of advice is you were put in the classroom because someone has confidence in you. And there are going to be times where you're going to wonder if you're getting across to the kids. You're gonna wonder if you're up to it. And it's a great question, because I literally had a teacher in my room at the end of the day yesterday with kind of a similar question. She's a long-term sub. This is her first long-term sub job. I mean, she has a lot of life experience, and she's really interested in creating the lesson plans. And I'm like, oh my goodness, this person's so good. And she didn't have a good day. You know, any teacher out there knows some days it's just not a good day. It's not necessarily what happened, but a collection of what happened, and you just like, wow, am I doing the right thing? Am I doing more harm than good? You know, we internalize so much. So I think that we spoke for probably a half hour, and the thing I said that probably from the way she reacted that made the most difference is I said, sometimes I feel the same way now. Sometimes I have just have a bad feeling, and then I think, and I'm fortunate because I have all the years of experience, like in the long term, I think I've done a lot more good than harm. So I can look back on that, and I recognize with myself, I'm my biggest critic.
Yes.
So what I think, oh, this was such a horrible day. Well, for the might not have been that horrible for most of the kids in the classroom.
Right.
So yeah, so I guess that's more than just technique and things. So, but if in terms of like the first thing I'd tell them is that bit about self-confidence.
Don't be too hard on yourself.
Don't be too hard on yourself, unnecessarily hard on yourself. It's actually it's a sign of a good teacher that they're reflecting back on their practices and thinking, what can I do better?
Right.
That's healthy. And if a teacher like that comes to me and I see them being hard on themselves, it's like, that's how I know you're good and you're going to improve.
You're passionate.
Because you're passionate, you care about this job and you care about those kids. So there's a lot of times, and when I work with teachers, I think an important part of my job is to reaffirm and reinstill that confidence.
Amazing. That's perfect.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all for today.
It.
That's all for today. Thanks for tuning in today. And if you found this episode beneficial, don't be shy to forward it to your teacher friends so they too can benefit. You can follow me on Instagram at Legendary Educator, or you can get in touch with me by going to legendaryeducator.com. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review, because that helps out a lot. Next week, another legendary episode with a new legendary educator. Class is dismissed.